Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. We are your hosts, Vidas Pinkevičius
and Aušra Pinkevičienė.
We've been mastering secrets of organ playing for more than 20 years and sharing them on this blog since 2011.
On this show, which we create from our home in Vilnius, Lithuania, we strive to help you grow in every area of organ playing, including practice, technique, repertoire, sight reading, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory, harmony, and many others.
Our hope is to help you become a complete musician, or what we call as total organist, a program which we have created to help you reach your dreams faster than you would do on your own.
If you are new here, we invite you to subscribe to receive free updates of this blog at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
And now let's go to the podcast for today. Hi guys, this is Vidas
and Aušra.
Let's start episode 385 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. This question was sent by Damian, and he writes, "Thanks for today's podcast. I have to admit that everything you talk about works in my case. As far as memory is concerned, usually I know the words of the first few verses of hymn, and thanks to that I have a little easier in most hymns. Your comments about the divisibility of attention and disturbances from other people are very accurate, exactly how I feel. I will try to switch tenor with alto and free my left hand sometimes. I think we have to try to make it easier to do many things at once. I've made it easier for myself to switch verses on the display. In my church, the screen is operated by a laptop, and the verses are switched from the mouse. Right button forward, left back. You can also use the arrows on the laptop keyboard, but it's very uncomfortable. You also have to reach the mouse quite far, and doing it quickly you can confuse the left button with the right, etc. So I constructed a mini keyboard with 2 buttons mounted under the manual next to the thumb pistons and connected to the USB port of the laptop. Thanks to this, I can switch the verses with my thumb without taking my hands off the keyboard, left or even right hand, if it's more comfortable. It definitely made my life easier, Damian." Don't you think, Aušra, that Damian should patent it and make it available for sale?
Yes, I think that's a very good idea.
Similar tools might be already on the market, but there is still room for this tool too, I think.
Sure. Don't you think it's so impressive that there are no technologies like this? Who could thought about it, 30 years ago, let's say?
Yeah, 30 years ago, probably churches didn't even have those screens with text.
Well, we don't have them in Lithuania yet. It's not common.
Right, this is advancement. People are already living in the future.
Sure.
And sometimes the future is not as friendly as it seems. For example, a few days ago I was playing a funeral mass for one famous businessman who was also a supporter for the arts in Lithuania. And at the end of the mass, there came a pianist who was preparing to play an accompaniment on our organ tomorrow when the real funeral would take place. And I showed her the organ and how to use it a little bit. She isn't an organist, so she needed to write down the stop names, what to choose. And actually, curiously, she didn't write down numbers of the stops, but exact precise names. That was impressive to me to see. She wrote Principal 8, Salicinal 8, like that.
Not like most of you organists do in Lithuania, we just write numbers.
Not like 27 or...
And then you don't know what stop you are actually using.
Yeah. So this lady, she told me that I think in the summer she visited Austria, and in Vienna they have this famous St. Stephen's Cathedral, and she went inside, and it was a Sunday Mass. And guess what she heard? She heard not organ music, but recorded organ music from recording.
Well, if things like this happens, in the Stephansdom, as it's called, I always thought that Austria is sort of a heart for classic music.
Exactly. We know that orchestral masses by Haydn and Mozart are performed regularly there, at least on Sundays. But it was sort of very disturbing to know that situation with recordings could be done in public.
Well, I have heard things like this happens in Lithuania, but maybe not during Mass, but during, for example, wedding ceremonies. And
yes,
already many years ago, I have heard about it, that one of our, acquaintances went to perform, I think, to a small town called Kretinga.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she saw when she went upstairs to the organ balcony, and there was a wedding ceremony that, local organist, she was not playing, but when she had to play, she would just push the button and the recorder would play.
Mm-hmm. People make their lives easier this way.
But I think it's ridiculous.
It is, absolutely.
Well, although, in some cases, for example, when we were back studying in Michigan, and I was playing in Christian Scientist Church in Ypsilanti, which after that bankrupted. But we would have two services, one on Sunday, which I was, playing, and one, I think, on Thursday nights, evening service. And we wouldn't hire organists to accompany for that service, so we would just bought CDs with, all Christian Scientists hymnal recorded, and we would play hymn recordings.
Because they couldn't afford to hire you.
Sure.
On every occasion they needed.
Because the congregation was so small, I don't know if we would get maybe 20 people on Sundays. And when we were already bankrupted and we were selling the church, and I think we waited for another month or two until I graduate. And I think it was extremely nice that we did it for me.
And only after that they went bankrupt.
Sure. And shut the church down, so it was really nice.
Do you know what became of the organ?
I'm not sure, but it was quite a nice electro-pneumatical organ. Had some really nice string stops. But it was funny because, the console was sort of put in a tiny room, but pipes were, upstairs and were covered.
Yeah.
So you could actually not see them at all.
Yes, it's hidden.
Yes.
I guess Damian's idea about technology inspired us to talk about what technology dark side is, right? Sometimes what kind of replacement to the real organ music can be when they have not enough funds. I have a suggestion, but you were almost making a comment, right?
Yes, I just wanted to comment, that now some of world famous orchestras will not get new scores, will not buy new scores. We just play from the tablets, yes. So I don't know if it's good or not, but that's the thing. It's now a new tendency to do it. It saves trees, of course.
But eats up electricity.
Sure. And I think it's not so good for your eyes, for your vision.
There is this digital ink, which is okay for your eyes. It doesn't have this constant refreshment of data on your screen. Therefore, there is no your eyes won't be tired too much. There is no glare like on the phones or on the laptops. I'm talking about Kindle, for example. But tablets, sometimes they have this defensive shield against glare too, which is good for your eyes. I guess technology can solve many problems too. So I have just one final advice for churches who don't have budget enough to hire good organists to play hymns or organ music. I have a suggestion for them to choose a volunteer from their own part, and this volunteer might teach herself or himself how to play the organ and play for them, a minimum, a few hymns, maybe not of all four parts for starters, but maybe the soprano and the bass, just like we are teaching beginners who are starting to play in churches. This will be a good help, and maybe better music will attract more people to that church, and they will be able to afford later to pay. What do you think about that, Osha?
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
It's at least doing something than just pushing the button and playing the recording.
That's right.
Trying to improve the situation. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. We hope this was useful to you. And please keep sending your wonderful questions. We love helping you grow. And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
This blog is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online, where you will find courses for every area of organ playing, including technique, practice, sight reading, repertoire playing, hymn playing, improvisation, composition, music theory and harmony, with hundreds of scores and thousands of exercises. Here is what some of the students are saying.
Hugh writes, "The sight reading course has helped me tremendously. Thank you very much for your essays, courses, and all your help."
Robert writes, "I found the fingerings, registration ideas, and general comments to be excellent."
John writes, "I have found your download very helpful. It was really excellent. I have watched some of your teaching videos, and when I read your instructions, I tried to imagine you were teaching me. You may feel disappointed that I am 2-3 days behind, but I am a slow learner, and I have committed to taking the time to get it right, as you say. But the other night my wife commented that she had never heard me play such a detailed melody in the left hand so well. My left hand is generally poor."
Robert writes, "It has been a great pleasure in my life of having discovered your courses and material, as well as the YouTube work of recordings. You have a calm and pleasant way of teaching."
Ron writes, "Hi Vidas and Osha, thank you guys. What a wonderful response to my email note to you. You've got me right, and I feel you understand my level of playing. Yes, at home and lucky that I have an organ for that reason. I am paying attention to this, and I am going to try this haha no longer secret model. Yes, and I love Cesar Frank too. What is very nice about your blog podcast is that Osha and Vidas are like a Socratic dialogue, and by bouncing things off of each other, so much more information comes out and is expressed. Your comments contain a wealth of information and understanding. I really appreciate this. It is very inspiring and will keep us moving forward.
Would you like to receive the same or even better results that our students are getting? If so, join them at organduo.lt/total-organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to receive free updates of this blog, make sure you do that at organduo.lt. By subscribing, you will also receive free video, how to master any organ composition and 10-day organ playing mini course.
This was Vidas.
And Osha from Secrets of Organ Playing.
And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.